I see you took the easy way out.
I absolutely took the easy way out. Were you going to lug each one of these one at a time to fill this bed?
Well, vegetable gardening's special. It's a labor of love.
Connecting with the earth, and you were
Yeah.
connecting with the earth.
I was connecting with the earth in a big way.
Well, you can connect with the earth that way. I'm going to use the power equipment to make it easier, because gardening is supposed to be easy and fun and enjoyable if we do it the Bemis's way. So hopefully we'll teach people how to do it a little bit easier today when we teach you how to make raised bed vegetable gardens. Welcome, I'm Tina Bemis.
And I'm Ed Bemis.
Welcome to Bloomin' with the Bemises. So what we're going to do today is teach you a little bit more about vegetable gardening with the square foot gardening method. And what we did was we built that's the we that says I have great staff, and Andrew Ahern, one of our staff members here, built our little 4x4 foot wooden beds. And I'm going to put some soil in it now while I'm lugging the soil and doing all the hard work. Ed's going to tell you a little bit about the frame and the soil mix that I'm lugging into the bed.
You said to work smarter, not harder, so I'm going to do the brains and you can do the brawn.
Okay.
With these beds, this is just rough cut pine lumber. It's not going to hold up for years and years and years, but in our particular circumstance, we're looking for something that will last a few years, and this will work just fine. These were actually cut from pine trees that were growing roughly where we're standing now.
Right here,
yeah.
Right here in this spot.
They were cut into lumber, and now they're giving their life back to make some vegetable beds.
That's the ultimate in recycling.
Yep. And it's just 8-inch wide, 1-inch thick, rough cut pine lumber made into a square. There's some little corner braces you can see in the corner that just keeps it kind of from shifting while you're setting it up. Once it's set up, you won't even really need those because it's anchored to the ground pretty well. But when you're moving them around, it gets a little wishy-washy if you're trying to keep it square while you're setting it up. Some people like to use pressure-treated lumber. Some people like to use cedar because it's naturally rot-resistant. Other people like to use a rough-cut oak or maple because it's a hardwood and it lasts really long. It kind of depends on how you want, what you're aiming for, what your budget is, and what your environmental tastes are. The concerns with pressure-treated lumber, particularly with root crops, if you're growing the root crop close to the edge, are going to be a little bit of there is some concern with some of the preservatives that are going to leach into the soil. So to be on the safe side, probably using non-pressure treated lumber is the way to go. And again, rough cut pine temporarily, cedar will last a long time, it's going to cost a little bit more, and rough cut pine or oak, that doesn't have to be great, clear, knot free, just kind of a utility grade. It's structurally sound and that's fine. Or 2x6s, not pressure treated, just regular kiln dried or air dried 2x6s or 2x8s will just work just fine. These are about 8 inches thick. You don't need to have more than that. You certainly can, but you don't need to.
Thick or wide?
They're 6 inches wide.
8 inches high.
8 inches wide, which makes the bed 8 inches high or 8 inches deep. When the board's laying flat, it's wide. I guess when you're laying it on its edge, it's high. 6, 8, 10 inches, anywhere in that range is perfectly fine. If your wife is willing to carry more soil, then you can make it even higher than that. Notice I said soil and not dirt. The key is we're looking for, we're able to craft to make designer soil, because we're starting from nothing. We're not working with what's already here. That's one of the nice things about a raised bed, is you can change it to work any way you'd like it to. In this particular case, we're aiming for about 2/3 loam, sometimes called topsoil, and 1/3 leaf compost. The two, they're not really mixed, but in the process of shoveling it around and so on, it sort of halfway mixes together. That's fine. It doesn't really have to be a homogeneous mix. If you pick up one handful and it's soil, topsoil, pick up another handful, it's compost, that's just dandy. But about 2/3 topsoil, 1/3 compost. You can go half and half, but then you run into a little bit of a moisture management problem. Sometimes it dries out a little bit too quickly. And you can see it's nice and rich, it's fluffy. The plants are just going to love it. Because it's a leaf compost, you may find some things that find their way in there. And I just happened to find those little bolt that was in here. That whoever raked up the leaves was raking up a bolt. You might find a gum wrapper or something like that. That's the nature of the beast with a leaf-based compost. There's going to be some impurities in there. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it. And if you're doing it in season, you might find a weed or two. Right now it's early in the season, so there aren't any weeds that have germinated really yet. But later on you might find a weed or two. Don't worry about it. Just cover it up. It's going to be more compost, more green manure, as they call it, and it'll be ready to go. In a week's time, it'll be practically compost. How you doing there?
Very well. Hey, just wanted to mention Square Foot Gardening. There's a website, squarefootgardening.com, and it talks about a different soil mix that uses potting soil and compost and coarse texture vermiculite. I think there's as many different kinds of soil mix to put in this bed as there are gardeners. So you don't necessarily have to follow any particular way to do it, as long as you know that you've got something in there for drainage, something in there to help hold moisture, and some kind of organic matter. There could be any myriad ways to mix it all together. This is just the way that we happen to choose to do it. But there's no rototilling, there's no preparing the soil. You can make this, right now this happens to be on a bed of really hard soil with some pea stone on top of it. You can go right to your lawn and cover the lawn up with this without doing anything else. Maybe I might spray a little Roundup on it first in case there were some perennial weeds, but 8 inches of topsoil on top of lawn is sure to kill whatever lawn is underneath there.
I'd probably just scalp it down with a weed eater is going to be the easiest thing to do, and then you don't have to worry about it.
And so no rototilling. This is about the hardest work there is lugging that. You can see I'm a pretty small person. I'm able to lug this, and just going to fill this right up to the top.
One of the things that you mentioned with the myriad of recipes, soil recipes, designer soils that are out there. I was talking to a customer on the phone the other day about vermiculite. She was looking for some coarse vermiculite. Coarse vermiculite isn't a particularly easy thing to find. It's not a common garden center item. The fine textured might be. The coarse textured really isn't. And sometimes you can make things really, really complicated, and sometimes Tina and I like to make it really, really simple. This will work. I challenged her. I said that my mixture is going to work just as good as the other mixture. It's going to be less expensive, easier, and quicker. And sometimes you just have to say, this is going to work just dandy, and not have to worry about how difficult or complicated it is, but take the easy way out. But sometimes the easy way actually is the better way.
I'm always about taking the easy way out, and it's taking the easy way out by talking so that I can just keep lugging here. But we'll just finish this bed up and see where we go.